Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with another guide for you guys to learn, and it's Solo Greg for beginners and using ranged only. Now I know you can do this boss with melee, but as I prefer ranged, this is the combat style we're doing today. So before we jump into the fight, let's learn a little about Greg. So Greg is level 1000 with 200k life points. However, he is much stronger than the other generals with highly damaging attacks that can easily hit over 2k per hit. Now to make up for his increased damage, his defense is significantly lower than the others, possessing a defense level of 75 with 55 affinity towards all combat styles. Now his regular hits are around 1.1k and his max hit can hit up to 3k. Now Greg can also poison you and you can also poison him, so don't forget to bring your weapon poison and cinderbanes if you have them. Now on top of this, he has no weaknesses. Next we have the requirements, so you will need level 80 prayer to face this boss, although it can be boosted. You will also need level 80 combat stats, and you will need the ability devotion and debilitate to help reduce the damage that you take from the knife throw special attack. Now if you don't have the ability devotion or debilitate, I would definitely recommend to hold back until you have them both unlocked. Now there is one more thing that I find very important to help with getting consistent kills at Greg, the Venom Blood perk. Now this perk will negate poison damage that Greg inflicts upon you and will make the fight much easier to sustain your health. However, if you have not got Invention unlocked yet, you can use the incense sticks instead. It pretty much works the same. So before you go in, it's important that you protect yourself from the poison damage. Now another thing is people like to use our anti-poisons. I personally find they don't work as consistent as the Venom Blood perk does. And sometimes you can also forget to take a sip, which is probably what I have done plenty of times. Moving on to the recommendations, so you will need at least level 90 plus in combat stats, 95 plus in prayer for curses, so to unlock curses you will need to complete the Temple of Celestine quest, 96 plus in herb lore or 91 to make overloads, 96 plus in summoning for a pack yak, or if you're planning to bank every kill from the War's Retreat portal, you can bring another type of familiar that instead increases your DPS. So here is a list of some useful items. We have adrenaline pots and replenishment pots. Now these are great to have if you're under adren when it comes to the time to use a defensive ability or to even increase your DPS. Enhanced Excalibur free heals every 5 minutes, so it's helpful to have and will save you plenty of food. We also have the bonfire boosts, so you boost your life points with the highest tier logs that you can burn. Now a timer will show up depending on your fire making level and the type of logs you have used. Now I know there's an unlock at War's Retreat, so if you have that, that's great. Now we also have another one, which is the War's Retreat portal. Now if you do have this unlocked and you feel very uncomfortable going in for a long period of time at Greg, you could just possibly bank every kill if you need to. Now I've probably said this before, but there are some out there that don't understand how much Greg's poison damage can actually have an effect on you. So Greg's poison over time can be very difficult to sustain yourself, and if you're not protected against this, the reason I say this is because without protection from the poison damage, you won't last 2 to 3 kills, because all it does is just eat at your life points consistently. So to prevent that, I would highly recommend the Venom Blood perk or the incense sticks, as they negate all poison damage. I would also stay away from the anti-poisons, as it's not really that effective and only will take up inventory space that you could have also brought along extra food or prayer pots instead. So for the next part, I'll be showing you my preset I use at Greg. Now this is just an example preset, so you're more than welcome to use it if you want to. To the right of my example preset, I also have listed other gear that you could use if you cannot afford Sirenic, and extensions that also work here too. I'm going to give a quick rundown on what I'm wearing for those of you who want to use the same thing that I am. So the gear I'm using is tier 90 range power armor, which is called Sirenic along with my extensions. I'm also using my Cinderbane gloves for the extra poison damage. In my boot slot I'm using the Elite Ranger boots. For the necklace slot I have the Blood Amulet of Fury equipped for the extra heals. In my cape slot I'm using the range top cape. In the ring slot is my Ring of Death, however I do switch this out at the end of the kills for the luck of the dwarves for the higher drop chance. In the Scrimmy slot I've decided to use the Scrimshaw of Cruelty for the extra DPS of 5%. And finally in my aura slot I'm using the Vampirism aura to help with sustaining my health in this fight. Now the one thing I would definitely recommend for this boss is the Blood Amulet Fury and the Vampirism aura, and make sure to bring extra food to this boss, you will definitely need it. So for my inventory, you can see I have brought 2 overloads as I'm staying the whole hour, a few prayer renewal potions and replenishment pots, 1 weapon poison +++, my tier 90 range shield, the enhanced Excalibur, and the one thing I get a lot of questions about is this peculiar crystal looking stone in my inventory. So this item is actually called an ancient elven ritual shard. It renews your prayer points. It kind of works like the enhanced Excalibur, but the effect only works on your prayer points. Now I've also brought along my augmented sun spear in the range style for the planted feet switch, so it will extend the duration of my death swiftness. I also brought the ring of vigor as it saves 10% adrenaline when an ultimate ability is used. Now personally I never use it as I don't really like to switch a lot, but I've put this in specifically for those who are interested in that. So the location of the heart is located in the Kadrian Desert. Now you can get there via a desert amulet too, which will teleport you to Narda, or you can use a fairy ring and the code is DLQ. Another way you can get there is by teleporting to the bandit camp lodestone and walking southeast, walk over the bridge and walk a bit further east. Also added into the game recently is the War's Retreat portals, so if you have a kill on any of the generals there, that would be a quicker method of travel. Now once you're in the dungeon, start killing Sliskian monsters which are located in the northeast of the dungeon. Now you'll need 40 KC, however if you've got 4500 reputation in the Sliske faction, you will only need 20 KC. Now once that's done, go ahead and start your instance on the fastest mode. So throughout this fight, Greg will summon a spirit during the attack rotation we will talk about in the next slide. Greg will yell Rise Child, summoning either a spirit of rage or a spirit of delirium or a spirit of mania, from the respective mask depending on which one he is closest to, which is why it is important to stand in the correct location displayed here on the map for whatever combat style you use. Now the spirit only has 3k health, and should the spirit touch Greg, the spirit will say a quote before dying off as Greg absorbs it. So the Spirit of Rage increases his combat damage, the Spirit of Delirium increases his poison damage, and the Spirit of Mania increases attack speed. Now if the Spirit is successfully tagged, Greg will not absorb it even if it touches him. So all you need to do is stand in the correct location for the range style, and if you've got the Venom Blood perk or the Iron Incense sticks on, the Spirit is none then useless. So in the next part I'll be showing you Greg's attack rotation that he follows with some defensives listed under his special attacks that you can use to help reduce or negate the damage you take from it. So Greg starts off always with 3 auto attacks, followed by his special attack, the Trick Knife. This is where he throws his little knife and it hits you 3 times. After that it's another 3 auto attacks, and then he summons his spirit. Now you can ignore this spirit if you have the Venom Blood perk or the Iron Incense sticks. If you don't, I would recommend to tag the spirit and then focus your DPS back onto Greg. After summon spirit, he will do another 3 auto attacks, followed by another special attack which is called Glaive Throw. It will start off with dark dots on the floor and then glaives will fall on top of you. After that he will literally just repeat the entire cycle over again, until he is dead. So Greg starts with 3 auto attacks, so at this point I make sure my snipe goes off first and then fragmentation shot as he walks towards me. At this point I use Debilitate as that will halve the damage from the Trick Knife special is about to do next. Now the Trick Knife will also bounce between shadows or any other player if anyone's present in the instance. Now I definitely highly recommend using the defensive abilities like Debilitate and Devotion against the Trick Knife to reduce the damage from this attack, as the knives have 100% accuracy and can hit up to 2.3k damage. Then he will do 3 auto attacks again and say Rise Child. So at this point he will either summon a Spirit of Rage, a Spirit of Delirium or a Spirit of Mania from the respective mask on which one he is closest to. But if he's standing in this location, he will summon the Spirit of Delirium, which increases poison damage. So if you've got the Venom Blood perk or using Iron Incense sticks, you can choose to ignore the spirit and continue to DPS Greg as you're protected from the poison increased damage. However, if you don't have protection against the poison damage, tag the spirit by hitting it once. Gregorovic will not absorb it even if it touches him, and then you can continue to DPS Greg down. After the spirit summon, Greg will do another 3 auto attacks, and then he will toss both of his glaives into the air, with small shadows appearing throughout the arena. After 2 seconds, daggers and knives will fall from the ceiling and can deal up to 1.7k magic damage. So with this special attack, you can choose to either move from the shadowed locations or equip a shield and use resonance for the free heals. Now another special attack he does is spawn shadows in the arena which look like clones of himself. He only does this when he reaches 140k life points and 60k life points. So a little trick here is that you can use Devotion after his second auto attack, and then use AoEs such as Ricochet, Bombardment and Corruption Shot. This will extend your Devotion timer and that should completely block the Knife Throw special attack, and you will get quite a lot of healing from the Blood Amulet Fury and the Vampirism Aura. So that is Greg's full attack rotation. He pretty much just repeats everything in the fight from here. So for the next part I'll put in a full kill rotation with you guys so you can clearly see everything we have learnt today. And that is the end of my video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the notification bell and join my Discord server. Peace out.